Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're cutting straight to how companies are really moving beyond just, gathering data.
Yeah, they're actually using it,
Yeah,
using it as a tool to get ahead.
exactly. And we want to unpack how bringing data together, this idea of data aggregation, can, well, give a business a serious competitive boost.
It really can. And, a lot of our thinking on this has been shaped by Emmett Barrett, the founder of Barrett Solutions LLC.
Right. His expertise in helping companies turn complicated data into, clear strategies has been huge for framing this conversation.
Absolutely. He's really behind a lot of the insights we're going to explore today.
Hmm.
His perspective is invaluable.
So, okay, our mission for this deep dive is pretty straightforward then.
Hmm.
We want to get a handle on how using data strategically, especially with these advanced aggregation methods, creates that real edge in today's business world.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Totally. Are you sitting on a pile of data that could be doing more? Let's get into how some companies are turning information into their secret weapon.
Well, the first thing to grasp is this really fundamental shift.
Okay.
It's not just about having lots of data anymore. The difference, the real differentiator, is actively using it for things like predictive modeling.
Predictive modeling. So, figuring out what's going to happen next.
Exactly. Anticipating future states, planning for them. That's the key change.
Okay, let's dig into that a bit. It sounds simple maybe, but the impact feels massive. It's not just knowing what happened, but trying to predict what will happen.
Precisely. And the insights we're drawing on, really, thanks to Emma's perspective here, they hammer this home data without insights. It's kind of useless.
Like hoarding digital paperweights, I think you said before.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. You can have mountains of it, but you can't figure out what it means. What good is it?
Right.
The competitive advantage, that spark, it happens when you turn raw data into actual predictions that help you make faster, smarter decisions.
So it really comes down to intent then, having a purpose behind it all.
That's absolutely critical. That intent is what separates the strategic users from the mere collectors.
Ah,
When a company knows why it's collecting certain data, what questions it's trying to answer, that's when the value starts appearing. It flips data collection from just grabbing stuff to a focused hunt for strategic intel.
so the questions change. It's less what data can we get and more.
More like, what decisions do we need to make?
Right. And what data will actually help us make those decisions. That's a big mindset shift.
It is. And this shift, which Emmett articulates so clearly, is the foundation. It dictates everything. What data you go after, the tech you use, the methods, especially for those predictive models.
Because without that clarity.
Exactly. As Emmett's work shows, without that clear intent, even the fanciest tools are just, well, expensive solutions searching for a problem.
Okay, now the insights also mention breaking through traditional data ceilings. What does that mean exactly? How are companies getting data that used to be, out of reach?
Right. This is where recent jumps in AI and these advanced scraping technologies really come into play.
Scraping technologies.
Yeah, basically tools that can automatically pull information from websites. But the new versions, powered by AI, are much smarter. They let companies extract data from all sorts of dynamic, changing websites at a massive scale, something that just wasn't feasible before.
Okay, paint a picture for us. What were the old limits?
Well, imagine trying to collect data manually from, say, thousands of websites. It's incredibly slow, super error-prone, and just doesn't scale at all.
Right, impossible.
And even the older automated systems, the non-AI ones, they'd often break whenever a website changed its layout or how it
Yeah.
showed information. So there was this hard limit on the volume and variety of data you could realistically use
But AI changes that game.
completely. Integrating AI into scraping is transformative. These systems can learn the structure of websites, identify the specific data needed, and extract it automatically.
And they can adapt.
Yes. Crucially, they adapt when websites change. Older systems just stopped working. The efficiency gains are, frankly, exponential. Companies can access and process information way faster than ever thought possible.
So information that was essentially locked up before now flows freely into decision-making. That sounds like a huge advantage.
It is, and that flows right into this idea of creating a strategic moat.
A moat, around a castle.
Exactly like that, yeah. Emmett uses that term in his work. By successfully deploying these advanced scraping tools at scale, companies build this significant barrier. Makes it really hard for competitors to catch up.
How does that work in data terms? What are the walls of this moat?
There are two main dimensions. First is efficiency. Just being able to gather, process, and analyze information much, much faster than companies using older methods. They're operating at a totally different speed. While others are still collecting, these guys have already analyzed and are making moves.
And the second part, exclusivity. That sounds even more powerful.
It often is. This advanced aggregation gives access to unique data that competitors either can't get or can't get efficiently. This creates what Emmett calls an asymmetric information advantage.
Asymmetric, meaning one side has way more information than the other.
Precisely. And it reinforces itself. Better data leads to better decisions, which improves market position, which then often unlocks access to even more valuable or exclusive data. It's a cycle.
A positive feedback loop makes it really tough for others to bridge that gap.
Very tough. Even if competitors see the advantage, actually building the tech, the infrastructure, the internal know-how, that's a huge hurdle. It takes significant investment and time that many just don't have or aren't set up for.
And this data advantage, this moat, translates directly into faster decisions, right? This decision velocity idea.
That's a key outcome. Because they have this unique, relevant information right away, they can make critical choices much faster.
And in fast-moving markets, speed kills, basically.
Absolutely. That speed advantage compounds. Being slightly faster, consistently spotting trends, grabbing opportunities, reacting to threats, it builds up a massive cumulative lead over time.
It probably helps with experimentation too, right? Faster feedback loops.
Exactly. You can try things out, see the results in the data almost immediately, and then iterate or adjust your strategy much more quickly. It creates a learning advantage.
Yeah.
As Emmett's insights stress, when one company systematically has better and faster data, they're just playing a different game altogether.
Now, to really leverage all this data, it can't be stuck in different places, can it? The insights stress integrated data ecosystems versus those old siloed repositories. What's the key difference?
The core advantage of integration is simple. Being able to get almost any data you need almost instantly.
Okay.
Silos, where marketing has its data, sales has its data, finance has its data, all separate. That creates friction. It slows everything down, and it makes it really hard to see the bigger picture, the patterns that cross those departmental lines.
So integration means tearing down those internal walls, letting information flow.
That's the idea. Integrated ecosystems treat all the company's data like one big unified resource. Info flows easily, revealing insights you'd totally miss if everything was locked away separately. Think about combining, say, customer purchase history with their website browsing data. Silos make that hard. Integration makes it easy.
And presumably this helps with the more advanced analysis.
Oh, absolutely. Techniques like machine learning. They perform much better with access to broader, more diverse data sets, richer context. Plus, you can use more sophisticated methods like fusion models that blend different types of data, structured numbers, unstructured text, to find insights you couldn't get otherwise.
So looking forward, where is this all headed? What's the future of strategic data advantage?
Well, the next big wave seems to be even more sophisticated machine learning for that predictive modeling piece.
Getting even better at predicting.
Yeah, and as these tools get better, the gap between the basic collectors and the true strategic weaponizers is just going to get wider. We're moving towards systems that don't just predict outcomes more accurately, but also start recommending specific strategies, maybe even integrating with automated decision systems for this continuous loop of improvement.
Wow. So not just predicting, but recommending actions, maybe even taking them automatically.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
The ultimate evolution, as envisioned, is moving from just predicting what might happen to actively shaping outcomes through these data-guided interventions.
That's a powerful idea.
It is. And as Emmett's work suggests, companies that don't adapt, that don't make this shift, they risk being left permanently behind as these strategic moats just get wider and deeper.
Okay, so for organizations listening, wanting to make this leap from just collecting to actually using data strategically, what are the takeaways? The insights mention some first principles.
Right. There are about 5 key ones that really summarize it. First, start with intent, always. Define the decisions first, then figure out the data needed. Let the why drive the what.
Makes sense. Number 2.
Prioritize integration. Yeah. Connect your data sources. Break down those silos. Don't just add more isolated piles.
Okay.
Third, invest in predictive capabilities. Move beyond just looking backwards with reports. Build the muscle to forecast what's coming.
Got it.
Fourth, build for speed. Timeliness is critical. Getting the right info even slightly faster is a huge advantage.
And the last one.
Create proprietary data advantages. Look for unique data sources others can't easily get. Develop the skills to pull real value from them.
So wrapping it up, the core message is pretty clear then.
Yeah, I think so.
Turning data into that real competitive weapon. It takes clear intent, advanced aggregation, and a relentless focus on prediction and speed.
Couldn't say it better. And again, it's worth highlighting Emmett Barrett's contribution here. His expertise really lays out a practical path for companies to get there, moving beyond just having data to strategically using it for a lasting edge.
So as you're listening, maybe take a second to think about the data you already have access to.
Mm-hmm.
What advantages could you unlock if you intentionally brought it together, analyzed it with purpose? What ceilings could you break through? What kind of moat could you start building?
Definitely food for thought.
For sure. Something to really dig into within your own context.